And good evening, everyone. I'm Sue Herrera, filling in this evening for Susie Garib.
And I'm Tyler Matheson. Welcome, everyone. Stocks rose today. They got a boost from some positive earnings, strong economic data, and easing worries about the global economy and how it might be affected by international conflict. Added up, and it was enough for the S&P 500 to reach a fresh intraday high before pulling back, ending just 2 points away from an historic record close. And after the closing bell, attention turned to the latest quarterly earnings from the tech bellwether and the most valuable publicly traded company on the planet, Apple. Apple made $1.28 a share, excluding items, and that topped Wall Street estimates by a nickel. But revenue was slightly lighter than forecast, despite selling 35 million iPhones, 13 million iPads, and nearly 4.5 million Macintosh computers. Shares were volatile in late trading after closing up nearly 1% in the regular session. Julia Boorstin joins us now from Los Angeles with more on Apple's earnings. Julia, take the numbers apart for us. What did you see?
Well, Tyler, for Apple, it's really all about the number of devices it sold. iPhone sales grew nearly 13% year over year to 35.2 million, showing that Apple is keeping ahead of new rivals and thriving, particularly in Brazil, Russia, India, and China, where CEO Tim Cook says iPhone sales rose in those four countries 55%. But it is a different story for the number of iPads sold. The number of tablets that Apple sold declined more than expected to 13.2 million and is down also from 14.6 million in the year-ago quarter. Growth is expected to continue to struggle this quarter, with the company projecting revenue that's lower than Wall Street expectations. The June quarter is traditionally Apple's quietest ahead of fall product announcements, and now the focus is really turning to what new products Apple has in store, with eager anticipation for new iPhones as well as wearables. Sue, maybe we'll see a watch. Back over to you.
It could be, Julia, and we're going to come back to you in just a moment. So sit tight, stay right there. Meantime, with Apple's solid results out, analysts and investors are now focused on Apple's future and the game-changing products in the pipeline at a time when CEO Tim Cook is firmly putting his own stamp on the new Apple. Josh Lipton has more.
There's a lot of excitement about Apple's next generation of products expected to be in stores this fall. From the iPhone 6 to the Apple iWatch, the company is poised for a big fourth quarter.
We expect the iPhone 6, a 4.7-inch and a 5.5-inch. We'll go to China a lot. I think that's going to be very important in Asia, as well as elsewhere in the world, but especially in Asia and China. And then the iWatch we think is a fall launch. So I think those are two very, very exciting new products.
And as Tim Cook steps outside the shadow of Steve Jobs, he's starting to make Apple his own. Cook has now been at the helm of Apple for nearly 3 years, and insiders are putting his performance in context. The company's income statement is one way. Under his watch, Apple's annual revenue has jumped nearly 60% and its profits by 40%. Apple stock, since August 2011, is up about 75%, besting the S&P 500, though lagging the NASDAQ. But beyond just basic stock performance and financial metrics, Cook is also making changes at Apple that are having a big impact on the company's leadership and culture.
I think he's a little more deliberate. He's a little more data-driven. Steve Jobs is more of a visionary, had a great gut and created a phenomenal company. And now Tim Cook has to carry that on. And what does Tim Cook always say? He says, you know, our North Star is creating great products. He has kept that culture at Apple. And I think that's very, very important. That's the most important thing he could have done, and he's done it well.
Cook is also comfortable welcoming big personalities into the Apple family. Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine are now Apple employees after Apple bought Beats for $3 billion. And Angela Ahrendts, former Burberry CEO, now leads the company's retail operations. And Cook is turning old foes into new friends, recently announcing a new partnership with IBM, bringing a suite of business apps to iPhones and iPads. At the end of the day, though, Apple will be judged on whether it continues to make and sell fantastic products. When I speak to Tim Cook, he's clearly excited about the company's product pipeline. We'll soon find out if investors and consumers are equally enthusiastic. Josh Lipton, Nightly Business Report, Cupertino, California.